going, guys? David from Desert Hobbies over here at 855 Studio. We're going to be talking about the Traxxas Slash 4x4 here. This is the brushless model. So, give you guys a quick look at this. I get a lot of questions over at the hobby shop about a good first truck. And people are very unsure of what they want to get for a first truck. So I'm going to be going over this, the pros, the cons, upgrades, what to do, and why you would want to go with the Slash 4x4 or two-wheel drive. It depends. It's really going to come down to, Traxxas has a lot of different body styles. Do you like the trophy truck? Do you like a monster truck? It really depends on what you guys like. So this is the 4x4 brushless VXL. Give you guys a quick look inside. We have been running it, so it is dirty, but it's perfectly fine. This thing's made for it. So started off here, of course, we do have a four-wheel drive chassis. A lot of people confuse the four-wheel drive and the two-wheel drive. They confuse them, and we get it where people are asking for certain parts and they're not compatible completely. Some of the rear end stuff, like I believe the rear drive shaft's the same, the rear hubs are the same. Some stuff is the same. Not everything though. So when you guys do get them, you need to kind of verify with people, hey, I got a two-wheel drive, hey, I got a four-wheel drive. So four-wheel drive, it's a great truck. There's nothing really too bad about the driving experience. It's a great beginner truck too. If you guys do decide, let's say, to pick one up, I would go ahead and start off with a brushless because you do spend a little more money up front, but at the end of the day, everybody I see that gets a brushed one, they just upgrade to brushless down the road, and it costs a little more money to do that. So it's better just buy brushless. If it is for your kid or something, go ahead, buy them a brushless and either give them a two-cell LiPo, because this can do 2-cell or 3-cell LiPo. Give them a 2-cell, it's a little slower. If you still think it's too fast for them, Traxxas implemented a beginner mode into the ESC. So the VXL systems, a lot of people like them because they have a beginner mode, they have a race mode, and they have a just a full blast mode. So we'll talk about the ESC a little bit here. So this is the VXL 3S. A lot of people say that this is a waterproof system. Do not believe that. It is not waterproof, it is water resistant. The bearings can still rust in the motor and you can get them wet. Just expect to be doing maintenance on the bearings and stuff in the motor. The ESC is pretty much bulletproof as it is, but the motor, if you do run it through a lot of water, you will need to be cleaning and lubricating that. ESC wise, this one comes with TSM. So this little knob right here, the multi-function knob, it's called TSM, so it's traction stability system. So when you are on the dirt and stuff and you're kind of sliding around the turns, the steering will steer for you. So if you want to do donuts, you have to turn it off because it'll keep trying to steer for you, keep you going straight. The brush one does not come with that either. That's another option that the brush one does not come with. Servos. Personally, this servo does do fine for a while, but once you start taking some big hits, you will eventually want to go to a Savox servo. Savox has some good options. Like I said, they're usually about $45–50 in that range. But you buy that servo, you are done. You don't got to keep rebuilding this one or buying $40 servos from Traxxas. You can put the Savox in there. It's waterproof. Well, that one I actually will say is waterproof. I've completely submerged one for multiple minutes and no problems with it. I would put the Savox servo in here. It's metal geared. I've yet to break one. A lot of basher guys, I've seen good stuff from them. So talking a little bit about the truck, a lot of guys that are senior to the hobby, they know this. The newer people will not. People tend to think putting aluminum stuff on these RC cars is a great idea. It is and it isn't. Some stuff you can do aluminum, and it's perfectly fine to do aluminum. Like bearing carriers out here, perfectly fine to do aluminum. Do not put an aluminum A-arms on here. You want something to break when you hit a curb doing 60. So RPM is a great option for that. We do carry RPM stuff. It's really, really strong, but it flexes at the same time. So you don't got to worry about constantly breaking stock ones because you can't put aluminum. What I've seen with the hobby shop, people tend to put aluminum on them thinking it's a great idea, and instead of breaking the A-arm, they rip the whole front bulkhead out, or they'll break the chassis, or they'll actually bend the pins so bad that you can't get them out, so you have to literally cut them out or buy a whole new bulkhead. So like I said, you guys, if you are going to do some aluminum stuff, definitely do your little bit of research on it. RPM's a great alternative. I would definitely recommend staying away from aluminum A-arms though. Hub carriers, definitely do. CV axles, the drive shafts, I would actually go ahead and do some Traxxas high velocity ones. There is some other companies out there that make metal drive shafts. I'm more of a fan of the Traxxas ones. I've had better luck with them. When you start doing high power stuff, they won't hold up, but for just a VXL system or something very similar, they'll last fine. And they're also rebuildable. So if you do break a little pin in them or something, or you rip the boot, Traxxas sells every single little part. So, like I said, great truck. I really like this. When it comes down to it, it's going to come down to you guys. If your kid or you are just running in the road and stuff, I recommend just a 2-wheel drive. You don't need to spend the extra money on a 4-wheel because you're not going to use it. 4 wheels really for when you get into the dirt and you're really trying to jump stuff. Yes, you are going to spend a little more money because you are getting 4-wheel drive instead of 2-wheel drive. But at the end of the day, I really do like the Slash platform. Little more of a fan of the 4-wheel drive stuff just because I find it easier to drive in off-road. 2-wheel drives just tend to do donuts a lot. So, 2 upgrades, people always ask me, what's good upgrades for these? I don't necessarily tell people they should go out and immediately buy a truck and start upgrading. I tell people go out, run it, see what you break. Everybody breaks something differently, hits something a different way, and it breaks. If you really do want to get in there and start upgrading stuff, big must-have things in Arizona is a fan for your ESC and motor. Those are big because in the summer, you're going to find they're going to overheat really fast. 2, if you are going to get out there and just start immediately upgrading, go ahead, put the aluminum bearing carriers in there. That's probably one of the #1 things that breaks on this truck. And put the RPM A-arms. You put those 2 things on this truck and the drive shafts, the Traxxas metal drive shafts. You put those 3 things on this truck. It'll basically be bulletproof until you do completely break something. Like you have to hit a wall going probably 60 to break it at that point. But if you're out just jumping, it won't break anymore. Another good thing about these Proline. Proline makes some great bodies. A lot of people go with the Proline body mounts because they're tired of losing these little, these little things. These little body clips. These things, you're going to lose them even running it in the dirt. They fall off. They're impossible to find. No point in trying. People put the Proline body mounts. It's a simple setup too. Go ahead, pull the stock ones off, put the the Proline ones on. And it's a huge improvement because now you have these screw-on nuts that they don't fall off when you're just running it around in the dirt and stuff. Like I said, I've had a lot better luck with that style of body mount. Shocks. We'll go into shocks for now. Proline does make some really nice shocks. Bit pricey though, if you're just bashing. So a lot of people actually go with the Traxxas big bores. If you want to really be jumping this truck as hard as you can, put the GTR shocks on there. They are a little more pricey, but they are a bigger bore shock. So a lot of people get those 2 mixed up, is the GTRs and the big bores. The big bores are a little bit bigger than these. They look very similar. The GTRs are the ones that actually have the screw on them, so you can adjust your spring rates on that. If it was me personally, I'd go GTR shocks because I've always liked them because I can just adjust on the fly, and I know that I have a bigger shock to take a bigger jump. Battery-wise, of course, I went over this in the intro. You do have an option. Yes, these trucks will run nickel metal hydride. Do I recommend it? No. It's very, very slow. If it's like a 10-year-old or something, that's fine. But if it's anybody that has a wish to actually make the car jump and stuff and actually run up and down the road at a decent speed, put a LiPo in it. Okay, you guys can actually do a 2-cell or a 3-cell LiPo in this car. 2-cell, you're probably realistically only going to see about 35-40 miles an hour out of this truck. 3-cell, you'll start seeing the 50s, 60s in there, depending what gear you have in here. You can gear these higher, you can gear them lower. If you want more torque, you go ahead and go smaller on your pinion. The pinion is what's on the motor. Go smaller on that. If you want more torque, more off the line power. If you want more just top speed, go bigger on the pinion, but you're going to find the bigger pinion you put, the faster this motor is going to overheat. So that's just a quick look at this truck. To the bottom, there is a couple things you can do for chassis wise on these. The easiest answer is if you're looking for a chassis that doesn't flip over as much, go ahead and put what's called an LCG conversion on these. Traxxas sells an entire conversion on this truck. You convert it to a low center of gravity truck. So I would recommend that if you're looking to race or something like that. But if you're just out jumping, leave the stock chassis. Alrighty guys, so that's going to wrap it up on my review of the Traxxas /4x4. If you guys do want to purchase this, you can go to deserthobbies.com. We do have them in stock. We can ship them. Or if you want, you can come into our hobby shop. You'll see Jarrell around here. He's going to be around here a lot more than me, but as time goes on, I will be in more. But Jarrell, he's an awesome guy, you guys. If he's very knowledgeable about this stuff. If you guys are looking at picking one up, come talk to Jarrell, or even too, you can go to our Desert Hobbies Facebook and you can shoot us a message on there too. One or other me or Jarrell will answer that question as they come in. So, like I said, you guys, this is 855 Studio. I am out.